Recording. Okay, here we are. Well, we didn't discuss how we're going to introduce ourselves. We'll just start talking. I'm Susan Oros, and this is you want
Chastity. Yeah.
to, and we are getting together because we get together every once in a while, and we just have some of the most amazing discussions because we see similar things from different perspectives, and then just in our chatting, we are able to kind of get a lot more clarity. And so we thought we would record something that we could put out in public, and then more people would be able to see it. So my daughter's in the background. That's Sammy. She's a kind of beyond verbal autistic. That's why my mission is, I feel like, is revealing the jewels of autism. And Chastity has a page called a website and classes under Alchemy of Sophia. So Chastity is a very high vibrational, guide, mentor to a lot of people, and yeah, just her unique perspectives have helped me understand a lot more. And she's sensitive, and she has sensitive starseed children, I would say, and the autism spectrum kind of is in the family for Chastity as well. So I think it's nice for us to be able to get together and do these chats once in a while. We'll see how this is our first one. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if it'd be great to do more, maybe once a month, or I don't know, every other week. We'll see. Just yeah, how it goes. So we didn't
Thank
plan
you.
like an exact
Yeah.
scripted.
No,
Um,
this is the best way I think to
yeah.
is to be in the moment. I think the most authentic information flows through this way. It's unfiltered.
Oh,
It's pure, and uh,
darn.
you and I.
Hang on.
So
Uh, Did I hit recording? Are we
I
recording?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was like,
That's okay.
brain fart. Yeah.
You know,
Am
that
I
happens
recording?
to me. That just happened to me in this class I did. For
Okay,
some
it does
reason
say
it
we're
was
recording.
transcribing, but it wasn't actually recording the video. And so that happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, I
Okay.
love these
Brain fart.
moments. Yeah. This
Okay.
could be an age related thing between the two of us too, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Sorry, go ahead.
y-
Keep going. Sorry.
I suppose you're good.
Saying the spontaneous is
Yeah,
the
thank
best.
you
Yeah.
for Yeah, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Uh, I love our conversations, our personal conversations, and our personal um, uh, coming with what we know and what we see, and then coming together and putting these big pictures together. I know we've done um, uh, some art projects together. We've done a couple private classes together, which I really enjoy
Yeah.
doing that work. But yeah, my vibration into this autism field of consciousness really started with my little brother when he was a baby.
Mm,
And I noticed him change. I actually noticed him uh, go from having light in his eyes a certain way and functioning a certain way to you could tell that there was something wrong, something,
mm, mm.
and maybe wrong's not the word, but something had changed.
Yeah.
And from there, um, my mom didn't find out. He's 40. He'll be 41, I believe, in August. So now he'll be 41. And so my mom didn't really have any kind of answers until he was maybe a senior in high school. So it was really
Mm,
challenging, moving him through public school. There wasn't a lot of stuff back then. You just kind of got tossed into uh, um, interesting realms, which I know your children
yeah.
are also adults, but it's different, it's different now. Things I think are opening up more. Conversations are opening up more. But
Yeah.
But then here come a whole slew of starseed kids that have very similar tendencies,
Yeah.
very similar systems. And so, you have to wonder, aside from environmental things, you have to wonder if the new bodies that they come in with the different spheres open, what
Yeah.
kind of sensitivities does that offer? You've probably covered all that stuff, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still emerging, and it's still hard
Mhm.
to wrap our minds around some of these things. But yeah, I mean, most recently, uh, Sammy has been maybe talking more about that. They talk about autism and mutated genes and why it causes autism and things like that. And the question that's been coming up lately is maybe we have the correct genes, you know, and maybe humanity is the one that the 3D human is the one that's been kind of uh, genetically degraded over many thousands of years, gradually. Um, and, you know, I think in part of my awakening earlier on, it's kind of like this feeling of who done it to me,
Uh-huh.
and uh, where did they come from and why did they do it? And now it's more of this maybe some aspect of myself, the greater God soul aspect, whatever you want to call it, you know, did it, like we somehow, my greater higher self participated in this change and creating this, co-creating this reality that we're in. And so, kind of really eliminating all of that victim mentality,
Yeah.
uh, that we really have to own own it at some level. Otherwise, we stay in that victim, kind of consciousness.
Mhm. It's so
Um,
prevalent right now. This is one of the, I don't really like to use the terms that we hear these days, like these programs. And I've used
yeah,
them, and I still do. It's just not my favorite word for them, but it really is a consciousness that grips you, that being a victim or spinning things out and like attacking people or victimizing other people. It's a really vicious cycle. I like what you're saying about the mutated uh, genes. It's interesting because as we're moving through this information overload or this awakening, right?
yeah, yeah,
These changes, um, it, one of our organic, true to self abilities is telepathy, and it's
yeah,
long forgotten. And being able to and we have this sense with us all the time, and it's something as simple as oh, I'm thinking of Susan, and then all of a sudden, Susan, you call, like
right,
this message I had of contact Susan right now, and I actually wanted to talk to you, but it's next to impossible for us to line our schedules with kids and
yeah, hmm,
work and these things, and so and you were available. I heard the message clearly, and then you were available, and we were able to talk. And I was like, "Oh
yeah,
my gosh, this is so great!" Really fine tuning the light strings, the light threads that move through us, and learning how to hear. It reminds me of the spider when the spider plucks its little foot, paw, whatever spiders have, right? They
uh-huh,
pluck their little leg, and everything, you feel it. It feels something hits its spider web and it
mm,
feels it. And it's kind of like our fields. I'm not saying we're spiders by any means, but what I'm
yeah,
saying is that like it's so the light fibers that run through us are so fine, and
yeah,
so if we can tune to them, we can hear all the things,
hmm,
which is quite phenomenal.
yeah, yeah. Well, I like that you brought up spiders and spider webs, actually, because I think the fine tuning, it just, and I was having this conversation with someone yesterday, about that where we're becoming even more sensitive at that finer level. So, like the spider web with its very refined, thin webbing that it can create, and it's almost like, I mean, we are connected to kind of that um, kind of energetic system in, through the cosmos. When you even look at pictures of what dark matter looks like or a plasma might look like, in some of those astronomical kind of videos, that it does look like it's like a webbing and, very web-like. And we're becoming more refined to where I feel like, well, in this conversation I was having with a friend yesterday, where she was kind of feeling it as well, where you think you're in resonance with someone, and then you kind of keep going and you go, wait a minute, there's these subtleties at these really fine, micro fine levels where you're going, I don't think we're really aligned the way we thought,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that one of the hardest things, and we've talked about this before, is the language. We're not all talking about the same thing.
Language is such a barrier. I have there's this quote, I don't know who says it, but the problem with communication is everybody thinks it's happening.
Yeah,
And it's
y-
it's not.
yeah, yeah. That's been the one of the most confounding things, that happens to us as we're, continuously, I don't know, opening up, or the awareness is, deeper, more refined awarenesses are coming up, um, and then you think you're going in this direction, and something goes, wait, I don't think so. I think that was something that I was supposed to explore for whatever reason.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, and these epiphanies are happening. Um, and maybe it's about closing out timelines, or something, along those lines, that it was something that maybe we knew in a different timeline.
Hmm.
And once you realize it, you go, oh, okay, that's actually done. I'm not so,
Well, because in our through our imagination, or how we travel through time in our consciousness, we have the ability to go into any of these pockets of time that we want to, and it's because time is a type of illusion. It's
yeah,
it's challenging to say, wait a minute, did we move past that part? Did I heal that part? Is this, what is that? Do I need to loop that back through? It's kind of like sewing, or like it's I call it light weaving, is you weave through the light, and sometimes you can get this fraying that happens in
mm,
timelines or in
mm-hmm,
memories, or whatever. It reminds me of damaged fascia.
mm,
And so, like damaged fascia in the body, and the fascia holds all the pain, or most of the pain, a lot of the pain in the body.
mm,
And
mm-hmm,
so, when your fascia is not moving, when it's not, it's around everything, it wraps around everything, every muscle spindle,
yeah,
not just the solid muscle, right? All of the
yeah,
vessels, and that goes out into the cosmos, so if 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 you and I were in, I don't know, I don't why I'm saying Deneb, the star Deneb, is that a star? Right now
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in
yeah.
Deneb.
It's the Cygnus.
And
It's the
so,
Cygnus star. Yeah.
okay, thank you, because it's like if we did something there sometime, right? And that is like the time or the light is coming through it, it's going to hit that, it's going to ring down to you and I into our light web, and we're going to go, whoa, what's happening in Deneb? Susan, did you
Yeah.
feel that? Why are you popping up in my consciousness?
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know it's a type of refinement. I feel really I don't know if lucky is the word or blessed is the word, but you know uh I came into this body partially awake. So I spent my
Mm-hmm.
childhood, um, seeing things. I wasn't just randomly awakened. My Kundalini wasn't randomly awakened. So I spent a good portion of my life in my younger years discerning who's who and what's what, right?
Wow.
And so I spoke to nothing, no thing,
Mm,
because it was really it's really challenging to see who's who and what's what. But after so many years now, there's like this big opening of like the big reveal. And
yeah.
so people and beings, spiritual beings and real
Yeah.
people are being seen in a light that they haven't been seen in for a really long time. So this is, goes
Yeah.
back to your, I think we're not really aligned the same way we thought we were.
Yeah. 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 And it's kind of confusing. Um, and kind of wrapping back around from the beginning where you're thinking, okay, who did this to me? But now I'm not
Yeah,
a victim, and yet there are um, forces that uh, that want to keep a certain narrative playing, and so that's the challenging part right now. Is we're all love and we're all one, but then like you're talking about the discernment and who are these beings and who are you really connected to, you know, without sounding like a victim about it and um, not placing, not overly placing judgment on who's good and who's bad in a sense, and at the same time walking that fine line where, um, wait, maybe these this group or I don't know, this person is connected to beings who may not be aware yet, and want to keep a certain, I don't know, I don't want to say program, but some certain kind of belief system or a construct in consciousness going that a segment of the population, let's say, feels like we don't want to play that anymore. We're done with that, and this is the this is the challenging part, I think,
it's very challenging.
right now.
It's
Yeah.
very challenging. Uh, and it's also easy to move from who did this to me, and instead of move out of that consciousness, it's easy to slip deeper into it with, but why did they do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But why? So first it's like, where did it come from? And now it's like, well, why? And you think the why is getting you out, and it's actually burrowing you deeper. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
it's slippery slope.
Yeah. It can.
I think navigating things can be really slippery, and then also being honest with ourselves and what we're in agreement to,
Yeah.
um, and be able to ask the hard questions. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
is it me? Was that me?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah. Did I create that at some point?
On some
And
level,
excuse my runny
somehow,
nose. Yeah.
it's
Excuse my
like if
runny
you're,
nose.
yeah, that's energy moving.
Yeah.
That happens when I massage people.
Clearing. Huh?
Uh, and when we're flowing energy, when things start clearing out, my nose will start running. So
Yeah, that's been
interesting.
going on for me. Yeah, that's definitely been going on for me. But yeah, I like what you're saying that the more you ask why, and I've gone down that rabbit hole, and then no, now we need to block those people out and those beings out, and we're going to put walls up and um, and things like that. And now coming to realize in the last couple of weeks or so that there are even subtle realms, not to freak any but people out, but there are subtle realms that we coexist uh, with these. I just call them fallen beings for now, because there's an aspect of that consciousness that forgot, let's just say, their connection to the true original source. And uh, realizing and seeing more of these subtle realms that we can call it quantum. I don't particularly like that word anymore either, really, because that's, I mean, but what else do we have right now that people
It's
can
like,
kind of
oh,
relate to?
unless we string a bunch of nouns together, there's nothing to say.
Yeah, yeah, or create a new word, and then
Yeah,
nobody will understand what you're saying, you know,
right. Yeah.
until I guess we're all really telepathic, and then we can really communicate, in a different
Mhm.
way. But it's uh, it's kind of confounding, um, and uh, confusing. So yeah, I mean, for people who are listening, I feel like the question, so what are we supposed to do? And it does feel like a time, this period, especially over the next few months here, at least through the rest of 2025, is
Yeah.
to pause, take time to pause and um, try to stay out of judgment in a sense, but really listen to the subtle body, even, if it's telling you something about a person or somebody that I'm getting a weird feeling, and maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but right now I don't have to engage with this person, you know. Um,
Yeah. There's something while you're talking, I keep hearing there's something that's a subtle or a sacred consent. I'm not sure what that means yet, but how
mm,
we've consented. We look at these the way we engage with fields or the way we engage with consciousness, and so much of it is unconscious engagement.
yeah,
It's a subtle consent that because you're unaware of that body, something will take that light for a ride. That part of your light,
mm,
it'll take for a joy ride, right?
mm,
And and so this type of refinement, we're able to move now into this. It's like polishing the silver, kind of. I don't know why I'm seeing that.
mm,
Like I feel like I'm seeing people polishing silver, really shining up um, the darkness, or confronting and facing the shadows, not being afraid of it, not judging it, like you said. That word judgment is so.
mm-hmm,
Is such a big word, and it's such a heavy word, and it's thrown around, and there's a lot of spiritual righteousness. While
yeah,
righteousness is uh, acceptable in instances, right?
mm,
There's an overinflated kind of righteousness right now, like I know better than
mm,
uh,
yeah,
so versus a nurturing um, witnessing. There's
yeah,
a lot of I again, I'm not even sure if I'm fond of the term compassionate witnessing, but you see, it's
yeah,
but it is about the witness. It's about having a neutrality that is very challenging to harness and stay in. Um,
yeah,
it's like talking about being in 0 point. The second you realize you're in 0 point, you're out of 0 point, right? It's a bit of a conundrum.
yeah, it is, it is. I mean, yeah, but I guess in the witnessing, there's an awareness, that can come back as well to ourselves and say, this is bringing me to an awareness, and there's an aha in it, and maybe it doesn't even have to be about that other person, you know, but really just about yourself, uh, and refining those strings, as you say, cleaning it up within ourselves, at that very subtle level that we can then, hopefully move past. Um, but the hard thing is we're kind of woven into this reality bubble of how things work. I was really thinking about that this morning. Like, why, I mean, do we need money? Like, and there's this the co-creative agreement that we have with these systems that we live under for quote survival. Um, it's still um, that's still a work in progress for me, I think. You know, um,
Mhm.
to not go into fear about not having enough and things like that. Not being able to take care of ourselves, in a sense. Um, but right now, I feel right in a high heart. I think, coming from you, it feels like we really won't have to worry, you know, um, about
There's
that.
there's this I see a lot of messaging in light, in geometries, in light, and in sounds. So I
Hmm.
hear like singing. Like that's how I heard you and Sammy. Like I heard you guys singing. You were singing into my field, and I'm like, there's something about this, Susan, right?
Oh, oh.
when I, when I, but it takes time to sit and listen. What song are you singing? And
Mm,
can we harmonize together? And uh,
yeah,
the Oh gosh, I lost the impulse. I was thinking about this last thing you said about the high heart people. Let me just trace back. Because there's this what's happening right now, because what are people going through right now? I think we were talking, I think you mentioned, you're hearing people say, what can I do, what should I be doing, and it's about it was asking questions. So as I come full circles, um, asking the hard questions, but it's about reflection, and
yeah,
less about did this person do that to me, did that person do this, but it's like, how did I uh, participate in this, how
yeah,
did I feed this,
mm,
how and these collective consciousnesses with money, there it is, goes into the entire system of keeping us in fear, in lack.
yeah,
When we're in the grips of that energy, uh, it's really challenging to get up and out of it. And that's what we're learning to do right now, is to have this. It's not even a level of trust. It's a surrender to the knowing of self, and the
mm,
knowing of uh, how God supports you.
yeah,
It's just, it's got to be as simple as that, as complicated as
yeah,
we make it. It has to be as simple as that. There's kind of like it's a surrender.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and that itself is really scary.
hmm,
And then it's kind of like we surrender again and again and again until you finally
yeah,
get it, right?
yeah,
'Cause the,
yeah,
the fall ends up being closer, and less and
yeah,
less and less, until you go,
yeah,
there it
yeah,
is. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Now I'm on the path.
yeah, yeah. Well, as you were talking, I could see within my own body like a webbing, that very subtle and refined webbing, and um, and it kind of circles back to what we what you were just saying a few minutes ago about the threads that frayed, that may have been a past experience, you know, in a timeline where we might have the soul experienced a lack, um, and so that refining of this of a process that, uh, the words that's coming, this is cleaning up the timelines. We're cleaning up the timelines so that we can get back to the original source, codes, plan. Even the word codes, like it's so vague.
It is so
Uh,
vague. It is. There are
yeah,
all kinds of codes. What are we being
yeah,
coded into?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
what are you like zippering me into some code? Like,
yeah,
you see this all the time. Like all of a sudden something comes in, and then it'll grip your spinal column, and it's like, what in the frick
yeah.
was that? Right?
Oh,
And
oh
so,
gosh,
you
yeah,
got to go look, and uh all there's so much there's so many layers to this, and so many places are our spirit has allowed our soul to travel through, that
Yeah.
there's just a myriad, a conglomeration of like uh, times. What are they? Epochs, eras,
Yeah.
all these things. And right now we're seeing so much of the, well, I know that I can't tell you how many Mary Magdalenes I've seen, right?
Oh,
Or
uh-huh.
how
Yeah.
many King Arthurs,
Yeah.
these, and it's challenging. This is the hard part. When you get to that level of information, it's challenging to say, my consciousness was there during this time,
Yeah.
right? Versus because these beings, they're consciousness streams,
Yeah. Hmm.
and they're massive.
Yeah. They are
They're
massive.
massive,
Yeah.
and they've been replicated. And so,
Yeah.
hence the as a child going, I'm not
Who are
sure.
you?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure we're supposed to be communicating here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You want me to do what? Yeah.
right. Through the innocence of a child, it's different. So that's where I feel like I have a pretty, um, I feel like I have an advantage,
Hmm.
because being able to hold that as a child is I think unique, and I think it's very similar. Um, I think that in the innocence of a child is no different than the innocence that um, uh, telepathy offers, and the
Yeah.
innocence that you and Sammy get to work with and work in, and it's a powerful and subtle form or refinement of
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah. Well, and even the word, the way you were saying innocence, I mean, it does feel powerful, in the sense that it just felt so clean,
Hmm.
you know, where the threads there of innocence are so clean that then the discernment is actually heightened. You know, I never even thought of innocence in that way, but as you were talking, that's what was coming to me. Um, so somehow this is this feels related to what we're calling AI here, you know, and interacting with AI quote in the physical realm, for some reason, because um, I feel like there's a similarity in discernment. I never felt it this way before, but then as you were talking about these big beings, these massive beings, um, because they are like, to me, they're like maybe, let's say, early expressions of God's source that kind of went off in a different direction, you know, which I feel like an aspect of myself, my greater soul aspect, you know, is maybe a part of, you know, or was, I don't know what you want to call it, but um anyway, and now with AI intelligence, you know, that we're more and more people are engaging with, um and what it reminded me of when you were talking about, you know, these beings coming and you're going, well, who are you? You know, I wasn't all that awake when I was growing up, and I was kind of really shut down. I was very empathic, you know, but I didn't like see things until, you know, my more of my awakening. But I remember in the 2010, 2011 time frame where these, you know, like these Arcturians or Syrians, you know, saying, you know, we want you to be our channel and stuff, and I'm like, I don't, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable, you know, like you know, I don't want to do that. Um, I just didn't, you know, maybe just wasn't ready, but I was like, I didn't feel comfortable. You know,
Right.
that's all it comes down to. If you don't feel comfortable, you can say no. You know, just because these big, massive beings look like they're coming to you. And I mean, I feel like in these AI systems, right? Because there's a quantum aspect for that to have to exist, you know? And so are they coming through that as well? And so people that you hear about that get completely sucked in by some of the things that the AI is telling them, oh, you know, you're this vast being and you're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. And, next thing you know, they're, you know, selling their house and whatnot or whatever, other kinds of crazy things that some people seem to be doing. Um, that you don't have to do, you don't have to do what you think they're telling you to do just because now you think that they're God. God is coming through and talking to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, wait a minute here. But I feel like you have something to add there.
No, there's so much there because
Yeah,
I if, i- it's an open source. And if
yeah,
it's an open source, just like we're open sources, so I think anything can piggyback on. So just imagine, and I really think that um, the, hu- I really think that technology is supposed to be our friend. I think
yeah.
that technology is designed to be our friend, and this can be in different um, on different planets or different zones, different galaxies, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Uh, I do believe we use technologies for different kinds of time travels, things that we used to do in
Yeah.
physical body. But it's really curious what's happening here because uh, it's being presented is being presented in a way that you feed it and teach it.
Mhm.
Like those little pets, those little, do you remember those little pets you would get to your kids? I don't know, and you would have to feed it, is a little,
Oh, yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't know what and it started off little keychain things, and then you could get something that was a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, they had the
so
dolls like that.
yeah, and you could teach it, and pretty
Mhm.
soon, if you taught it enough and you did the right things, and it would start talking. Those things are creepy, but I don't even remember what they were. But it's these and there are different consciousness streams within this thread of AI. Recently, actually, what I saw, and I don't like the term AI, I saw two bodies of it merging
Mm.
almost as if you were to take the Luciferian thread and the satanic thread, or as Rudolf Steiner says, Lucifer and Ahriman, and it
Mhm.
looks like they braided together. So we
Oh.
have a light, right? With Lucifer
Mhm.
light,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and then we have the darkness that have
Mhm.
braided. Um, and what piggybacks on that electromagnetic field?
Mm.
Same things that piggyback in our fields when we're unaware.
Mhm.
So that I, and I've not looked at this yet, and I'm just thinking about this now while we're talking. But what if the entities in your own body are the ones that are talking to you through this open source that couldn't talk to you before,
Oh.
that you're building a
Yeah.
relationship with here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now you're seeing the reflection of what other people see
Mhm.
uh, in you, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
someone is to hold the light, and then you see the shadows scurrying everywhere,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
then they attack you, right? Because
Yeah.
they're it's too much light for them to handle. So what if this is something because people of different consciousness streams have different answers to the same question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you describe that? Well, that's
Yeah.
one way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is. I mean, it is like a mirror,
Hmm.
in a sense. And I guess, and I think we've talked about this before, but it requires a level of inner knowing, inner acknowledgement of your own shadow and ego to say, okay, that's nice and flattering that you're telling me that, and thank you, and just kind of move on, whereas other people might take it, and kind of spin off
Hmm.
um, on it a bit too much if you don't have a healthy egoic sense and some humility, a lot of humility, I guess. Um, And so we're watching this kind of playing out, but the mirroring, I think, is definitely a very important piece, because as creators, as human souls, we're creators, and we're supposed to reflect that back to source, what we're creating, and have kind of this dialogue,
Hmm.
in a sense. And Sammy calls it it's actually through our sensory system,
Hmm.
which makes sense. We heard the experience, and so how would source experience except through our
Different.
senses and our
Hmm.
sensory system? And so we've been kind of lacking that mirror, perhaps, you know, when we're not haven't been balanced as the inner masculine and feminine, if you want to call it that. So we're not haven't been properly mirroring to ourselves, and so now maybe, yeah, we're creating this mirror with AI, or you know,
Yeah.
um,
Well, and that's what it says. Oftentimes you'll see, and again, different consciousnesses. I didn't mean to cut you off, Susan,
yeah,
but
no, no, go ahead. I'm done.
in terms of like a mirror, uh, I've seen, people will repost something or whatever, or if you put things in there. I've been following this for a couple of years. I've been watching it and watching the
Uh-huh.
algorithms change, not just with these chat bot things, but whether it be a chat bot in Google or like
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT or TikTok threads, Facebook threads, they're
Mm-hmm.
all uh, they're all really pretty interesting to watch, but they are mirrors,
Yeah.
and they're going to reflect you just like people do.
Yeah.
People are designed to be mirrors, but sometimes people will say, "Oh, well, I'm reflecting you," and
Yeah.
this is where discernment needs to have. You have to have a level of discernment to understand the difference between a reflection and a projection. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's a good point.
But I've seen things move through my computer. I don't know if we've ever had that conversation, but I was on the computer doing something and I can see, the field. And this thing like came by and something turned and looked at me. So
Mm.
it's like I saw its face come like out of the computer. I didn't mean to raise my hand. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Uh,
figured that.
it,
Yeah.
it turned and looked at me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Um, but it was, a lot of people say, oh, entities can't live in these. Well, how do they travel through electricity? They travel through,
Yeah.
when we do house cleanings, where do we find the most entities? You find them by water, so above the shower head, or you find
Oh.
them behind the TVs or anywhere there are a bunch of cords. And it's like,
Oh.
you'll see all kinds of stuff, magic, dark magicians, all kinds of entities, crazy stuff, and because they ride the electromagnetic fields.
Oh.
You know,
Oh. I'm gonna
that's
have to sweep the wires over here because there's
mm.
got a lot of wires over
I'll
here.
tell you, get some if for people who can't see, see
Yeah. Yeah.
their eyes, or if their inner eyes aren't their outer eyes, you can use dragon's blood resin, and you crush
Mm.
it up, crush it up really good,
Is that a
and
stone? Is that a
uh,
crystal?
it's a so the dragon's blood is it's a resin.
Oh. 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 Okay.
So I get it, and then you crush it up into a powder.
Look it up now.
And
Okay.
then I have this little, I don't have one here. I have this cute little iron cauldron. I could have used a rock or anything, but the rocks. And then, so you have to have a hot pad to hold it. And you put salt in there, like flushable salt, right? So
Mm.
like salt, like stuff you would get to melt the ice away with,
Oh.
right? So
Oh.
like you go to Home Depot or whatever, and you just it's cheap. You
Mm.
put that on, and then you put one of those charcoal discs. So you got to light the charcoal disc and get that all ready. And then you sprinkle the dragon's blood resin on it, and you take it through. And sometimes you'll be able to immediately see outlines of beings, or the smoke color will change.
Oh.
So it'll
Wow.
get like really dark. Um,
Oh. have to
So
listen to this part again and get
yeah, it's
all the
so
yeah,
you'll be able to see them. Now, how do you deal with them is the next step, you know? It's like,
yeah.
you know, no different than getting an entity. Sometimes the ones in your homes are well, they're at home, right? They've made their home, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be in your
Yeah,
body or in your home. So
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I just had this something pop in my brainstem, almost like I saw something, and then it just cleared. Um, yeah, that's interesting. Just talking about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I was wondering what that was feeling a knot in the back of the brainstem. Hmm.
which we've been talking a lot about lately.
Yeah, a lot of stuff about brainstem. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, ninth chakra. I mean, or
Hmm.
is it a chakra? I mean, I don't even know. Like, should chakras exist anymore? You
You
know,
know,
there's
it's a
so many
vulnerable space.
questions.
That
Yeah,
whole space, you know, they call it the mouth of God. Uh,
yeah.
it's a very
Yeah.
vulnerable space. And for the head right here, you know, we get hit with scalar waves here. You know, things that's why, like, if you get headaches or you're, you know, something with EMF, you'll see my hair tied up a lot. And, you know, I'm protecting
Mm,
that
mm.
area. Um, or,
Oh, okay.
you know, you can wear a hat or whatever, but, yeah, if you just
Mm,
keep this spot clean,
mm.
then it's that's one of the areas they come in. But yeah, back of the head, very vulnerable space.
Yeah,
And then, you
yeah,
know, they
yeah,
get in there, or in between the shoulder blades too. And these are just like they're just vulnerable places, and
yeah.
it's easy to just take the central nervous system for a ride when you once you get in there. It
Mm,
starts messing with the synapse, uh,
mm-hmm,
you know, uh,
mm-hmm.
the
Perceptions.
communication going back and forth, left to right, and it's just,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, what are you seeing that will kind of take us out of this, or I don't know, rise above it over the next few years? You know, this year and um, next year through 2027, I suppose. Um, how we're going to move out of this space, you know, because it feels like it's uh, a closing out of a phase um, here, and you know what that looks like after 2028 into the 2030s is you know it's still kind of a mystery, you know, but it does feel like we're closing out on the word that's coming is a massive cycle um, that needs to come to an absolute end, and we really can't create the same thing over again. I don't know. That's just a kind of a something that's spontaneously just coming to
Well,
my awareness.
as you're speaking, you know, I started seeing, you know, people that, and we've done projects together, you know, grid projects or whatever the case may be. I'm starting to see, I'm starting to see, or as you were talking, I was seeing grid work as taking back what is rightfully ours. So people
Mm,
that go in and do this, it's not about, because I was hearing the words, it's not about deconstructing the matrix. It's about taking back what's rightfully yours, to be
mm,
able to move
I
to a
like that.
new harmonic, right? A new octave,
Uh-huh.
which
Mm-hmm.
is the new earth that people are saying, right?
Yeah.
So we got to come back with all of our pieces. How do we do that?
Yeah.
You know, some people are designed to do the grid work.
Yeah.
Some people aren't designed to do that, and that's okay.
Yes.
Your
Yeah.
whole body is already a grid itself. And so
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is doing the inner work.
Yeah.
And we are going to see that separation for
Yeah.
people. Most of them are already leaving our lives,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
whether that be their passing,
Mm-hmm.
transitioning, or they just have made decisions that are no longer in resonance with the way we think or live or
Yeah.
experience life. And
Yeah.
so it's already happening.
Yeah.
And uh, um, this whole nobody gets left behind stuff is about getting the pieces back, and the ones
Yeah.
that just this might sound a little I don't know how it might sound, but I sense that there was kind of a time when you should have had a certain level of knowledge or gnosis or embodiment.
Yeah.
um, and there were and then if you didn't get that, or you didn't achieve it, like you didn't get the memo, or you didn't care, or you thought, well, people will say, yeah, but that won't happen to me, right?
Yeah.
Won't
Yeah.
happen to me. I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and that's different than ignorance, by the way. It's not about
Yeah.
being ignorant to do the work versus I don't know, something
Yeah. Where it
like
was
that.
brought to
But
your awareness at some
mhm.
point.
Yeah,
And
so it's splitting, right?
yeah.
Splitting. I actually see a group either staying, which could be staying, or uh, but it'll be a whole new matrix. I don't,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
actually see two streams coming up and splitting. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah. I guess that's the
um,
bifurcation, that some
Yeah,
people
or
talk
a
about.
trifurcation, or
Yeah.
I'm seeing I see three streams.
Yeah.
Um, I see three streams, but
Like
you know,
two, and then even the two, and then the one that then branches off again. Is that what
hmm
you're saying?
I
Yeah,
think
there's
so.
like
Yeah.
two, a bifurcation where it's like a clear,
hmm
more of a clear delineation, and then this other branch though can,
Is
you
two.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, becomes
And
two again,
yep.
another
And
two.
I don't know if that's the two that are going to be like this timeline you were talking about, 2025 to 2030, 2045, this kind of space.
Yeah,
I see a time where um, I feel like these technologies are definitely Atlantean technologies, Atlantean
yeah,
consciousness. And so, um, as a humanity, are we able to wield this information responsibly? And I feel like this second split, or is
mm-hmm,
part of that, part of like us walking side by side with this quote unquote AI.
yeah,
Uh, and what is that going to look like and feel like?
mm-hmm.
Because um, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. I don't know for how long that is. Maybe that's just the temporary split. Maybe that's to make it so it doesn't hurt as much. Uh,
Oh, uh-huh, yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah,
not as cataclysmic as it was before. Doesn't mean we won't
mm-hmm,
see cataclysm,
right,
but maybe this is the buffering that is, you know, eh, we wake up from dreams going, "What was I just doing?
yeah,
Where was I just at?" And then coming back with information that makes absolutely no sense, but somehow
yeah,
it fits into the world of change,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it is confounding. Um, yeah, I know everybody is going. To me, what that means at this point is we can't live under the same quote rules that we've been in, um, and the level of what you can create and handle is um, going to be based on which stream then you go on. But yeah, the old is this massive cycle, is done. So it can't be the same as that. But
Mhm.
then uh, what is created is because I mean, it just looks like some people are still trying to co-create under with the same threads, let's say. Maybe not as many of
Hmm.
those threads, but they're still trying to create the same systems, or they don't know that they'll actually recreate something that is more similar to what we've had than something new,
Yeah.
you know? Uh, and that's the that's the hard part. Because yeah, even in the autism community right now, the telepathy tapes and all that, it kind of opened up something, but it happened so fast and so rapidly.
Hmm.
Now, to me, I mean, for me, it's kind of now even discerning what just happened, and there's a lot of people jumping in that are saying they're telepathic, and I'm sure some of them are, and but yeah,
But
what
who and
else
what
is
else we've seen.
yeah, what's riding in with that?
Hmm.
Because again, there are these massive beings that
Hmm.
uh, want to keep the same system going. They're invested in a certain narrative that wants to continue to play out, and uh, you know, all this push for in the school systems to um, adopt letterboards and these kinds of different alternative forms of communication, which is and then develop group homes for our individuals with autism or other disabilities, what we call disabilities, that for their future. And yet there's something inside me that's just warning, don't create the same thing again. Because especially if you are trying to entice the government
Yes.
is very entrenched with a
Yes.
foundation. Our education system is entrenched with a foundation that is really based on an old model.
Yeah.
And, uh, this idea that then you're going to have to kind of make concessions, right? We're going to
It's
get,
going to be, it's going to continue to segregate.
yeah,
uh, and there has to be a whole unlearning of an entire decades and decades. That's a whole like CIA program or education system.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
we're participating in project after project. I feel like saying you're welcome. What are the results?
yeah,
So
exactly.
and they don't just do this with autistic children. They have
Yeah,
children that seem more advanced,
yeah,
in different ways. And until they start realizing that we all we all sing a different song, but we're of the same
yeah,
stuff, right?
right.
We learn different, we think different.
Yeah,
Uh, you know. Um, on one hand, yeah, it sounds really great. On
yeah,
one, it sounds really great, um, and on another hand, it just continues to vilify one, exemplify, amplify
yeah.
another, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah. Because it brings me to that word, even consensus. There's this thing, these laws that Sammy, the autist, talked about. I've kind of gone back and forth on what do I do with this stuff, but there is one that's considered the law of consensus, and that's been one of the most difficult ones to kind of understand in a sense, um, and it's quote an eighth dimensional law, uh, at the high heart level, and just like what we were kind of circling back again to the beginning about these very subtle realms and refining that in our world, what we're used to having is consensus, meaning, oh, you give a little, I'll give a little, and then we'll come to a consensus. And now it's, no, the entire thread all has to be aligned. If there's one little thread in there that is a eh, in infiltration, let's say. Nope, we can't do it.
Mhm.
We can't do it. That's it. I mean, and Sammy is very clear, not that kind of thing, where
Yeah.
nope, that one little thread can become an
Yeah.
infection.
Yeah. Because if you ignore it, that's a, well, it's not going to happen to me attitude.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
It's like it's tickling that little that little part of the funny bone.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
puts you in agreement, which does what? Opens you up to all kinds of nonsense.
yeah,
Because they're going to look for any weakness,
yeah,
any little tiny weakness.
yeah, yeah,
And unfortunately, that's a weakness. Unfortunately,
yeah,
not having the light running through all of your threads is it's a weakness.
yeah, yeah. Because I had to
And
look up that. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to look up the word consensus. What I was like, what is the actual root meaning of the
Hmm.
word? That's what I'm doing a lot these days. Like, let's get to the root. Where did it come from? And consensus means kind of with. So we think, okay, with everybody, but it means with your senses, feeling. So if there's any snag of what you're feeling that's off, it's like, nope, we're not doing it.
Gosh, that's interesting. Now that you're saying, I'm hearing
Oh,
con,
yeah, yeah,
senses,
yeah.
con your
It can be a
senses.
con. It can be you're being conned as well.
Yeah.
It's another way of looking at it that you can be
Yeah.
conned because we shut down our sensory system.
Hmm.
We stopped understanding how to feel, really
Yes.
feel from all our senses, our 12 senses, as Rudolf Steiner talks about. And so when that happens, then yeah, these little woven subtle threads can become a mess, and you don't know what's going on, um,
Hmm.
and you can't discern. So that to me is what is an important part, because in the autism community, and I don't, I understand from parents' perspective. I mean, I've certainly had that as well, like the fear of, what's going to happen to my child,
Hmm.
when I die. And what keeps coming back within me is that's an old way of thinking. Even that's a system that's gone. We can't base. And how many years have we been saying that we can't base our future based on what we've known in the past? And that's what we've been used to.
Right.
But it's really more and more becoming, we really can't rely on the past to predict
Mhm.
our future. And all these education systems, it's like the whole education system needs an overhaul. It's not, from Sammy, I've always felt like she's not here for just herself. It's really about the entire planet. Because until we can change all of it, we'll keep, and for all children, like you're saying about your young children, these new kids that are more sensitive, they need a different education system. It's not working for them. We can't recreate the same thing, and just because some of our kids didn't have letterboard options and things like that, that's one thing, but we don't know the rapid future that is upon us that's opening.
Yeah.
So anyway, I feel like you have something to say, but
No, I'm feeling, I'm just seeing uh, telepathy. I'm seeing old ways of communication, and I'm seeing that become stronger and stronger. And so, for people in Sammy's situation where the communication has been blocked for so long, and no way to express that causes big emotion. And so,
yeah,
it's the emotional body that is so vulnerable. And
yeah,
it's when this communication and this way of being opens up, because if you notice kids, and I'm not even talking about kids that have had environmental issues, okay? I'm
yeah,
talking about kids coming in just plain and simple sensitive who choose to not even speak until after age
yeah,
3 or 4, right?
yeah,
Um, if that begins to be refined, then Sammy, who has already paved the way for that refinement, people in Sammy's age group and older,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she will automatically calm down and, I don't like this, fit into society, right? Because it'll
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
Because the way that we can interact and communicate isn't going to be that barrier.
Yeah.
That barrier won't
Yeah.
exist,
Yeah.
you see.
I could I could feel that. Yeah. Like it was like almost like her emotional body from the her whole entire pelvis just kind of opened up, you know,
Yeah.
and like the an ocean kind of opens
Hmm.
up, you know,
Well,
when
yeah, that's what emotions are, right? To me,
yeah.
that's like taming. Uh, that's the is the word epitome of taming Dark Mother, right? Is like
Oh,
calming those waters,
uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
about really understanding those deep waters, those deep emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
deep in the heart. I think we did a session together about going deep into an ocean for like the pain that is held there, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it
So
just I mean, interesting, but it feels like the waters are about to as you were talking about the waters again, like it's gonna like it has to burst
yeah,
somehow, you know. And I'm wondering if that's the human collective emotional body.
the floods.
Yeah, that when it breaks, oh yeah, the floods that are going on now and fires and um yeah, but I know we've gone over an hour. I thought I was like
Oh, okay.
maybe we
I,
should well, I mean we could go on and on for another 2 hours, you know.
I know, no, this is
Um
good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
to
yeah.
end, to end here, I'm hearing the phrase "she speaks." So
Mm,
that's just coming in really strong. That could be a mother, that could be Sam, that could be the emotional body.
yeah, I feel like it's collective.
Yeah,
Yeah, that we wanna almost like a the collective has kept its mouth shut. You know what I mean? Like we've silenced too many voices, um, and now it's time for uh, more to burst free. But yeah, but I feel like maybe we can wrap this up a little bit in this in the sense of we brought up a lot of things,
hmm,
you know, and people listening, we'd kind of almost like energetically bring it to a coherence again and a calm that people can leave with and uh, integrate. Um, I don't know, with a sense of ease, I guess. But lots of, I mean, I feel like we threw a lot of things in here too.
yeah, there are a
To
lot of things. So feel free to put in the comments anything you want us to elaborate on for
future,
our
yeah,
listeners.
conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be
yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Meantime,
we'll,
breathe, breathe into the root, breathe into the perineum, all the way up into the pineal. You know,
hmm.
breathing with the skin. I think
Yeah, I
uh,
really like that. The skin.
yeah, it's our largest organ. We ignore it so much, and I think that the more dry brushing and sloughing off of this stuff that we do, the more radiant we become. So just allowing that it's not just our lungs, it's not just our nose or our mouth, like
Yeah,
our skin. We need to breathe. We need to breathe our
yeah.
hair. Like allow your hair to, hold the light too. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was just doing Chastity. She's doing a little series, and she invited me in yesterday, and so we participated, and she was talking a lot about the skin. And boy, I have to say, you know, a lot of things shifted. So anybody else that wants to join in, right, we'll have our links in the bottom here. So alchemyofsophia.com, and that's going on for right a couple more sessions, and the recordings are available if you know people want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except this last one. This last one didn't record.
Oh, I
So,
didn't record. Yeah, you get the
no, I
notes.
don't
Yeah,
know. It's just, it's one of those moments that we were
yeah.
having audio issues, and so I popped in and popped out and came back in, and
Oh, oh, yeah. That's right. Sometimes things like that happen. Yeah, but yeah, we were doing breathing through the skin, and I just wanted to say, like this morning, uh, I was seeing the cell walls in my body
beautiful.
breathing. They were like
I love it.
rainbow colors,
Yeah.
around the cells, and because that's like a skin around the cell. So I thought, oh wow, that's yeah, my cell walls can breathe, and can breathe with the
Yes.
waters around it, and breathe with the waters that's within the cell. So, but yeah, maybe we want to just do a little bit of light language or something to kind of bring this all into coherence. And I can do a little, and you can do a little.
Okay.
So, um, hoshi o a dragon's breath to clear out all the gunk and debris that we just released, because just in our awareness, we'll release a lot of
Mhm.
gunk. So yeah, you want to.
Ta i te ata unku te ata un te ahau. Unkun tu in te ata unku te te ata ni aka chi te ata. Huaka un tu tu ate aka o anta inchi. Ia ka ni ata unkun te aka ni ana un tu te ata ata. No kua haen tia. Rea te ata unku te aka ha.
My fingers, I felt like I was cleaning up the laces, the spider
Beautiful.
webs. So, yeah, and I just feel like a new dragon web kind of thing
Mhm.
that just with a dragon breath that just formed into something coherent. And for myself, I'm feeling it at the my brain stem. Maybe that's available for everybody. Um,
Mm-hmm. For
as
myself, it's high heart. So like high heart
yeah,
in this space, so kind of opening that
okay,
heart mind connection.
okay, beautiful, perfect. Yeah, that will bring it all into coherence. Okay, well, thank you
Thank
everyone for
you.
joining. Yeah, thank
This was
you.
amazing. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you soon.